Joe, I know in our thoughts on the WRC season before it started, we said that this felt like an identity crisis as their biggest stars were not racing full time. Do you still feel this way after the first few race weekends?
I have to say yes, and especially since Neuville is the only driver to win, and he's the only one to be full time to be on the top set of the podium. Elfin Evans, I think it almost seems to me the form he had a couple seasons ago when he was contending with Sebastian Ogier for the championship. Of course, Ogier got that. He has not exactly been there. Kali Roffampera was then better than him, getting the championships. This is Elfin Evans' opportunity to do so. It's not happening. He made a mistake. Looked like the race was going to be thrown away. He was going to have a bigger gap behind Neuville. He's lucky. Neuville made a mistake. And of course, Sebastian Ogier took the win. Now that we're coming to Portugal, we're going to have Sebastian Ogier. We're going to have Kali Roffampera there. I would not be surprised if they won two. I don't know exactly which order, but those two. So now you got everyone essentially from Tonic, Thierry Neuville, Elfin Evans, all trying to get potentially one step on the podium, unless Toyota Gazoo Racing just comes out and Rally Portugal with no luck, horrible setup, nothing going right, which this is Toyota Gazoo. That's not likely going to happen. I think it's going to be a very tough weekend for the drivers. For Thierry Neuville, essentially, it seems like the field is going to be a little bit stacked against him as he got more Toyotas to race against at Rally Portugal. It's going to be very interesting, but it's definitely not that great when your biggest stars are winning the races are not there week in and week out.
Yeah, for sure. And still to this day, whenever someone says World Rally Championship, the two names that immediately come to mind, Sebastian Ogier, Sebastian Loeb, and now third, it would be like Kali Roffampera. And then after that, I have to think a little. I know the Neuvilles, Evans, all of those guys, Tonic. But you really have to think about it. I think if World Rally Championship wants to stand out, they really need to have their drivers who are racing full time really make a name for themselves instead of, these stars who just drop in and, I guess you want to say cherry pick races and then they come in and dominate. Like, what does it say about our full time drivers? Luckily, with the way the point system is, not going to see a part time driver win the championship. That would honestly be really sad if a part time driver ended up winning the championship over all these full time drivers. That would be truly sad. But yeah, I still feel that same way as I did during the preseason when we were talking about World Rally Championship. It seems like Sebastian Ogier is trying to, be a modern day David Pearson, as he did in some of his seasons where he would just, drop in, win a race, take a race or two off, and then, come back and win again. As Sebastian Ogier is, still showing that he's one of the best in the business. I think if he was still racing full time, he'd probably be racking up championship wins and race win after race win at all of these different rallies. Just very impressive to see what he's able to do. Another motorsports legend right there, living legend. So another driver we need to appreciate and respect what he's done with his career. And now it's time to unveil this week's grid ranking. So going to bring Ben back on for that.
I raised you Kyle Busch in 2015. That was a part-time driver winning a championship. A little bit different because we had a playoff system that reset everything, and he got a waiver for that. But not entirely unprecedented in the world of motorsports, I suppose. We'll leave it there.